So hey guys, this is what I am working on today. I need to make this longer to hold a 12 fin oil cooler. This one here is from a like 64 Spider or an certain AC cars, and this is all original. And I did my measurements around here. Gary's like, you gotta add to the back or something. I did the measurements. Now I have to cut this and pull it out 1 inch. When I measured this one up real nice, this sits on there like that. When I measured this one up real nice, my dimensions off the back to the front, it is a 1 inch difference in length right here on this part here, 1 inch farther out. This one was bent up a little bit. And that one's correct, so I did have to bend that on an angle a little bit and get it correct to match that one that is correct. Another thing I have to do is this one here. You have this on there, and this you don't need it. So Gary's like, just cut it off. Well, what I'll do is I'll cut it off because there is a little piece in the inside here. I'll cut it off and see if I can bend that into that way to make it just like this one. And then I will have to, besides cutting this and pulling it forward, I'll have to add to this piece right here too on it. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to do 2 of them right away because I'll need one on the custom Greenbrier with 140 going in it. I do have, this is my best candidate here, I think. It's very crusty, but it's all there. It just needs to get straightened and cleaned. So maybe I'll try to get that one cleaned up. I have another one here that I think Gary gave me maybe one of these. Maybe he gave me this one. It's all chopped up. Someone had cut it. I'm missing all that. I could probably maybe try to build all that in there on this one. I may do that too. And just go ahead and give Gary one. And this one Gary had gave me, some guy had tried to extend it. Well, he extended it, but it's kind of weird. He pop riveted, well, no, he's bolted some aluminum plate and put a plastic, some sort of nylon in there. And, you know, I guess it would work, you know, but he gave me this one to reference, or he said you could have it. Now this one here could probably be possibly cut apart too. And if I could build these pieces, you know, and then I'd have to have that little indentation in there to hold your clip for the screw. I mean, if I didn't put the indentation in there and just put a welded nut on the bottom, you know, but I'll try to make it, maybe try to make it just like that. If I can make that out of 16 gauge. I should just take and make a cardboard template of this right away with the holes and stuff, and make it, you know, because it's going to have a piece to bend to connect it here. So if I just made if I get this cut apart and if I can make a cardboard template of that flat, showing where the holes are, possibly like this here part that's bent down to hold this little piece there, like that, you could probably grind it down out of a piece of steel, lay that in there and just smack it down, make like a little jig to bend those. I could possibly cut those out and reproduce some of them, you know, and that would be something people might be interested in having too, you know, because I heard these are they're hard to find, everyone says, you know. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then yeah, I have another one here that somebody tried to do something with. This one's pretty crapped up, you know, whatever they were doing on it. I don't know what they did. Cut it, chopped it, have holes punched in it. So I got all kinds of stuff to work with here. I think I'll just throw this one in bead blaster and just blast the areas. I did prime this one. This is the one that I had and straightened out. I'm probably just bead blasted off where I'm going to be welding and cutting, and I'll do that. possibly try to clean this one up quick this morning and go from there. So that's what I'm gonna be working on right now. At least I got it figured out, the length, 1 inch longer for a 12 plate oil cooler. So, and then he said, he said too, obviously they have a plate that they on here screwed in here that they can take off to open it up a little more to give you more air. And he said go ahead and cut a hole in there too, maybe make a plate that screws in there too right away for it. So that's what I'm gonna be working on now. All right, so this is what I've did. I've taken this, because this piece had a big ripple in it from being bent up and down. And I put it in there. And I have a bunch of these riveting tool things. And I pounded it down real nice and got it nice and flat in there. I did take off the plate that was on here that you can take off to let air in. I guess that's what it's for. Yeah. But anyways, I took that off and I got my measurements, and it would be opened right next to this piece here. So when I go and cut that one, I gotta be careful I don't cut into that and knock that edge off of there. That wouldn't be cool. And then I got my measurement there is past it, and this is already cut for that flap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna carefully cut right through there without cutting this here piece here. I'll just lightly take the cut off wheel and cut that, stay on that side of my line. And I got my measurements here. I'll put a post with all the dimensions on it. And then I got my measurements here coming up back, which are exactly 1 inch, because I want to move this 1 inch forward. This here is from here to here is 1 1/4 and 1 7/16 on that end. And that is basically just along here where this here is, if you can see that. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut that, and then I'm gonna cut down my sides here and stay to the inside, and I'm gonna cut right across here and stay to the inside so I don't cut any of this. And then we'll see. This part I have to get moved forward. We'll see how that all works, and then where this opening piece, how that's gonna work, because I'm gonna build a deal just kind of like they did, so it's kind of like the same, works the same way as this one here. So it is Monday morning. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, my whole, don't burn myself. Yeah. Try to measure 2-3 times. Think before you cut. Once you cut, you're done. So I'm gonna try to gradually cut through there without cutting through it. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But I really gotta be. All right, got some blocking. I had to hold it up nice so I can see my pencil line. That's all I did is a pencil line on there. And I think I want to go this way with it because I want to cut on the opposite side of my line. Yeah, let's see. Well, of course, it's Monday. It's pretty much a new wheel. I can't get in there this way because it's going to hit, so I'll have to go this way. And just be careful where my line is. On that side. It looks good. I'm cutting into nothing. I'm right there. Right on it. stop there because it was a 1/4 inch in. It might have went over it a little bit, but I can tap that with some weld. I think it was a 1/4 inch in to 1/4 inch in to the opening. So I'm over a little bit, but this is already cut, so it's going to be where it's going to be. I'll just straighten those out. So now I'm going to cut that. Best I can. And then I'm going to cut down on the inside so I don't cut any of that, so I save that. And on the inside so I don't cut into any of that. That's my plan. Right. Let me double check. Yeah. I was just thinking of this stuff because this gets cut off. That's on the opposite side. I gotta cut off, bend it in, add that little piece on there. I'm just double checking, triple checking. It's Monday. Once it's cut, then I'll be welding it back on if I have to. I'm hitting on that. On this side. Now we want to cut up there. Maybe I'll take my Sawzall. The only thing is you got these little things in here to hit on that one. Stuff to hit on that one too. That's the hard part. And now, all right, let me figure this out and see what's gonna work best. Maybe the Sawzall. So I took the reciprocating saw here, and the problem I have is that nut there, but I did get in there and I got her cut in and through. It's not too bad. And to chop off too much, bent that there a little bit. Didn't do too much damage. Side here, I'm going to do the same thing. It's hard because you can't clamp this stuff because there's no place to clamp it really. So I'm just going there like that and not try to cut my into there. I said you can't hold the thing. Monday, you know. Monday. I can't really. Maybe I can get in there a little bit, like in there. Get her cutting. Yeah. So now I just need to go a little bit farther, about 1/8 of an inch. More. Come on. I'm pulling it up so it doesn't pinch the blade too, trying to. Okay, cut her perfect. She stopped at the right spot. Now I just gotta cut that little spot on each side there. And I think, because that's gonna have to get cut all the way down too, because that's gonna be the new location. I think, the new location right there. That was 1 inch forward. Yep. All right, so I just double measured my stuff here just to double check, and that's 1 inch. So this is supposed to be right where that line is. So that's gonna have to get cut out, that little strip there. So I'll just cut that little strip out on there with the flapper, with the cutoff wheel. Flapper. Cut that little piece off and go up to my outside edge. There's a little piece there. Now I can hit it with the flapper. Maybe a little bit. Some of that burr off there a little bit, that's all. That's what I do. Okay. Now this is supposed to be, and we'll remeasure it. We'll remeasure it. That's gotta be right there. Like that, and then we have to have a certain amount there, and then our opening, so that's going to have to get cut, whatever that is there, and then we'll have our opening hole. So we're getting there slowly, and then we'll have to fill that in. Trim this off, bend it. Actually, I'm gonna bend it in, then trim it. Because if I trim that off, I won't have nothing to grab the bend. So I'm gonna try to bend that into that side. I don't know if I should probably heat that or warp up maybe, but do that and then build the rest of this. So what I've decided to do is I'm just gonna cut that off. Make sure you don't go down too far because you'll cut into this. That's got to come out anyway, so I'm just going to cut her off. Cut her off, get rid of it. Get her out of the way. Go. It's got to go right in there. So we'll end up trimming this down to fit in there. We'll blast this up, get that to fit in there, and trim this down to the right length in there. I have to get cut down a little bit in here. So that's what we're going to do next. Alrighty, I gave this a little sandblast. It's kind of hard to tell because it's gray paint primer. I marked this at from the back side of this. It's roughly 9/16, just hair over half. And that I'm gonna cut that off now. And then this will get, see, yeah, I just want to see because you guys can see it on the camera. This will get put in there. This is my 1 inch. So I have to just measure that. This was what was it, inch 2.5, so it's like, it's 3.5. So it has to be at 3.5, right there. And this is a 1 inch opening in here. So I'll be cutting this out here for that. And then I'll trim this to fit in inside here, so it fits inside these here. I'll grind each end down a little bit. We'll keep it centered. And get that tacked in there. And then start making the sides and getting this piece bent over and cut off. That's what's next. All right, I just cut this piece. I don't want to touch it because it's probably a little warm. I just clamp this down and cut this piece off of there. Boom. Now, I said I'll flapper that and clean that burr off. And that'll get put right like that and gives it a 1 inch gap like this one has. Okay, I think I'm ready to get this in there. What is this? I straighten these out a bit. I put a little notch in each side. So that will just sit right in the right position. Should be, I'm gonna put a tack on this side and just do a little double check on the measuring. It should be right on, but you never know. It's Monday. I'm gonna put a magnet deal there. Let's put on this side. Keep this thing from shifting around on me too much. And I think if this was off just a little bit, it's not gonna matter too much because there's some leeway with these things to hold the screws to give it, you know, there's a little play in there. I wonder if I should put some under there. Right under there to hold my piece right on to make sure I know she's nice and flat and level. I'm not going to hold my damn finger under there, that's for sure. Come on. That should be right on the money. That should be right on the money. Right there. Yep. That is flat right there. Burning through it already, still thin. But I think we got her right there. I think that's how we want it. I'll double check my dimensions on here, everything, and hopefully that's good. All right, so what I did, I had welded it all the way around real nice. All right, so what I did is weld it all the way around, nice and heavy. I mean, it's like welding a beer can. If you're not an experienced welder, have fun. Find someone who can do it for you. Set your welder really low, little zaps, you know. And then even then, it starts burning out, blowing out more. But it's So I got a bunch of cleaning up to do on here. And then I gotta build my pieces in here. get this bent over and trimmed. So when I look at this one here, it looked like it was tipped back to me a little bit here, and when I do put a little square on there, it is tipped back. Maybe an eighth of an inch on there. So I checked mine. Mine's tipped back about an eighth too. So I'm good there. So we're good there. So I've got some metal. I'm gonna cut a piece to come straight on the edge of there, and I'm gonna bend it and put a little bend in there to come up to there. I think, let me look at this one. Yeah. Now when I look at that one, and this one's like right on the corner. Now it looks like it's got in a little ways. So it looks like I'm in a little ways on that side. We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe just how it looks. You know, that's because I'm cut a little crooked here, so I wouldn't be. But I am in a little ways on that side, just like this one here. It's got about more than an eighth, 3/16 here on here before this part here. And this side here, I notice it's just bent and that's it. Do all my measurements flat on a piece of paper and see if I can cut these out on my machine. And what I'll do is for like the bends, I'll probably take my machine and put like 3 little cuts in there, not over in here maybe, but 3, like maybe 2 or 3 little tiny cuts. That way when I hit a bend on that line, I can zap that with a little weld in there. And just figure this out. All this is all these pieces. You get it so it's flat. You cut it out. You know, cut the holes out first and cut the rest of it out. And see if I can bend it up even here. I could do a little cut to bend that easier, and then just zap it with weld and then put it in there and see if that works. I think that'll be good. I'll definitely play around with that a little bit this winter. All right, I marked it in case you guys at home are gonna make one. It's about 2 3/16 long, just shy of 1.5 inches, 1 7/16. Do it 1.5 inches, that's fine too, because you can always just buzz it off a little bit. Go ahead and cut that one. The reason I cut and stop and pull out, I just look to see if I'm cutting good on my line. Should be enough here to bend it and have a little left to take it off. I promise when I'm bending them, I'm marking this at 1/2. Time I mark my line on there, makes it longer. So I'm gonna mark my line a little shorter or push it a little farther in the vise, would be fine. Right? Yeah, what am I got here? See, I'm a 1/2 on the inside of the blue line. And so I'll do it again. I don't know. It's Monday all day long. It's okay. We'll get it right. 3 times the charm, sometimes 4 times the charm. Maybe I could use one of these on the other side. I don't know. Okay. There you go. For this side. Now see, I made it longer so I can trim that off. So, and that's a little longer. So we're good. So what I can do is buzz that off a little bit. Buzz that off a little bit. I gotta bend that down, so I have to cut that, bend that over to fill in there. First I better bring this down a little bit. Twist my hand, see if I'm, yeah, just want to make sure I was straight, not crooked. Just got to go down just about a 1/16. Something like that. Yeah, grind too much. I have to make another one. Let's not do that. It's just getting warm. Should put my gloves on. Flapping here. She's warm. She's warm. Okay. I'll bring the whole thing down a little more. Put gloves on. I look at the camera. See, yep. Just double checking the camera. See if these guys can see it. If you're watching, I don't know. Thanks for watching. Maybe you guys did this, someone did this before and had an easier way of doing it. The easier way is to find the correct one. Stick it in there. Right. Okay. This is a hard way. The way I usually end up getting stuck doing it. Yeah. Always the hard way. Seams. Alright, I don't want to take too much more off. I want to mark where it's got to get bent. I can see it right through there. Oh, that's the trick as a bender. Right. Right the first time. What side you're supposed to mark it? Trying to mark it. It's kind of hard. Jesus. You know why it's hard? I got these stupid gloves on. Yeah, we got a mark in there. So I'm gonna look on his. All right, let's get that cut and bent and work on that. All right, so there's a lot of putsy work here because this was a little high here, so I cut that up, and this part's not going to be used. It's got to, so I had to trim that out so that would fit in there correctly, real nice. It fits really nice. And now, because the top, like this one, it's like that, I have to cut this out of here. So I'll cut that out of there now. And I was telling Gary, I was like, he was kind of explaining to me how to do it, but and then after a while, I thought he was telling me to add on to the back side, and I'm like, nah, I said I really like one to look at, you know. I says I'll try to do it, but if I have one to look at, then I'll know how it's supposed to be. It makes it a lot easier. And like I said, I think I'll try to make a template and get some of them maybe cut out on a machine. Why not? You know, it'd be pretty simple. I probably could have cut more out of there, but I don't want it yet. I have to go back and, because there should be more off of there, but I don't want to take more off right now. I'll take, rather go back and do it again. See, because then if I go to bend that, so then yeah, I'm just double checking, triple checking. Otherwise, you know what I'll be doing? I'll be cutting another one of these out. I don't want to cut another one out. I'll put that on there like that. See? So, what is it on the right side? There we go. It's all fitting together like a little puzzle. I'm gonna bend this baby, and hopefully I'm gonna bend it in the right spot. A marker back here. It's hard to see. Marked it back there. If you guys can see, it's all in there snug like that. I marked it back there because it's supposed to line up right with that one. So, yep, if we put the triple check, if I put it down in the vise and keep the blue in there, I should be good for bending it. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. You gotta bend her the right way too. Ah! And we gotta see. There's some blues right in there. What did I say now? I'm trying to remember. I'll look one more time. Yeah. I want the blue all the way in the vise. Like, I think like that. And then the right way. Damn, it's just steamy in here today. It's not hot, but the humidity went up, and we haven't had humidity much all summer. So, all right. Alright, let's leave her like that for you. It's steamy. It's only going to hit about 103 today. It's trying to rain. Ah, dummy. Put it in the right way. Take these stupid gloves off. So that's what I got so far. Actually, I could go right into the back like that. It ain't going to matter, I don't think, in the back. I think that's the way I'll do it. That fits really nice. Yeah, it fits really nice. Fits like it should. I'll weld it and then I'll trim this up here. So, there. All right, we got it all set here. And we're gonna put some zaps of weld on there. Not get too crazy. Yeah. See, that's perfect. There. Make sure everything's perfect like she should be. Don't touch it too much before she gets too hot. Should hold it pretty good. And where my wire brush went. Here it is. Okay. That's nice and smooth, probably nice and hot too. Nice and hot. It looks pretty straight. I said, I want to touch with my finger. That's where you can feel that if it's straight or not. It looks pretty straight too. I'm going to be happy with that. But I always like touching my finger. Suppose you could run something on it too to see if it's catching. I like using my finger. Now, just looking to see if you guys can see. And then I'll just flapper that off there afterwards. Okay. So I'm gonna weld around each side, make sure that's straight, which it looks pretty straight. And zap that on both sides. And polish, shiner up, flapper. I did grind a little more on there. I should have left it because now I got a gap in there. I thought it was supposed to come up a little more and it didn't have to. So, but no big deal. I can weld that in. All right, so I finished welding it up. I cleaned it up. This is what we have. I think I'm going to leave the weld on there just the way it is. And it's not too bad of a looking weld. I cleaned that all up. You don't see any of my crap that was on there welded up like crazy. I just hit that a little bit there. I still have some wire brushing to do in there. I'm leaving all that weld in there. That won't affect nothing when this thing flaps. It's got to have strength somewhere to hold it together. So that is it right there. And I guess I could have welded my little piece here, but it's welded on the outside. I could hit it in here too a little bit, I guess, a couple of zaps, but it's welded real good on the outside. And it looks pretty good so far. So now I have to go on this side. I have to magically bend this over if I can. If it'll bend over. And put a piece into this one here. And just have that little bend on that way and a little bend this way. And weld that in. Yeah, this is like, it's pretty much probably gonna be a day job. I see this is pulled out right down here. I don't know if I should weld that, tack that in there. This one's none's welded or nothing in there, but it's kind of bent out. Once it's bent out, you can't bend it back in really. So maybe a little tack in there, I don't know. All right, I did the same as that side, made another little piece to go in here, like that. It's a little more tricky because you got this piece cut down in here and coming up. And so I notched it to fit in there. So I could have cut that, but then it's gonna be closer to that. So I got this pretty well fitted in here. Only thing is this piece is a little thicker than this one. So when I put it in there, I put my clamp on it, it only will clamp onto this side. So it's called like take one for the team. Hold it with your fingers. I don't want to hold it with my gloves because I can't feel if I have it in the center of my gloves. So it's going to be called take one for the team. I'm going to tack her with my fingers on her and let her go right away because I'll get, I don't know. I don't want to get burnt. But I don't know. Maybe I could feel good enough with these. These are kid skin. At least I think that's what they are. That's what I usually always get, but I've been getting these from Harbor Freight because they're so much cheaper than the welding shops getting 23 bucks a pair for kid skin gloves. And I like kid skin because they're nice and thin. I think I'll get enough. Of course, something had to move. Blue holes because that's so thin. She's tacked kind of, but I don't know how. Something's holding her. I gotta let her cool a little bit. I really don't even know what's even holding it because I blew a freaking big hole through because this is so thin compared to this. This is thicker, that's way thin. So I need to be taking my weld from that side and blowing it this way. Oh yeah, she's warm. Yeah. I don't want to. I'd like her to stay on there, and if it's good, like if it's good enough that I can weld her, put a tack, I'd rather do that than keep playing around with trying to hold it. I don't know. It's Monday, so yeah. Pretty good this way on there. As far as that being kind of flat, because I think it's pretty good. Yeah. I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to weld her right there in this spot. I said, I don't know, that stuff's so thin today. It's extra thin. I mean, it is just, I'm gonna have to weld it with a little wire. And here it is. Just like to just keep it a little clean. I should probably get her tacked the other direction. This is all gonna get cut off anyways, so that ain't gonna matter. This is gonna get cut off, and what I'm gonna do, because I was gonna bend that, and it can't bend it, I'm gonna wreck it all. I'll take a piece of my metal. This is a piece I took out of there. It's like thin and thick, weird. And I'm just gonna take a piece and I'm gonna weld it on there across and flap her down to that to make that little piece on there. That's what I'm going to do. That's, in case you're wondering, that's how I cut off. But this here needs to get pushed out a little bit. I'm afraid to touch anything because everything's hot. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's hot too. See, if I gotta bend it, put her out a little bit, I gotta cut in there a little bit because it won't, it's hitting it. Ain't gonna matter because I ain't gonna get welded. This ain't nothing. This all gets cut off. There we go. There we go. That's looking mighty. That's looking good. No. I was just seeing if she's flat. Yeah. Pretty good. I'm gonna have a bugger welding that. I'm gonna have to use the wire. And I got a gap in the bottom. I'll use wire, a piece of wire in there. I'll put wire in there as I weld to help fill that gap. But I'm going to, now that I got this straight, I'm gonna put a zap on that, on this side. I didn't weld this side in here, so maybe I'll put a couple we'll weld on those two, and just finish off that side too. Probably doesn't need all that, but it's overkill, but I may. All right, guys. So I welded that in. I didn't weld that because that's getting cut off. I welded it in. It doesn't look pretty because I'm welding beer cans here. Metal beer cans. I can see a little spot of light right there too. I can see. And I've been using the air hose trick to cool it off. Help cool it off. Like I said, it doesn't look pretty, but that's how the other side looked. And it turned out okay. Doesn't look pretty. But when I take that little air flapper disc, it'll clean up and look nice. So I'm gonna weld this side in. I'm getting tired. I don't know how long I've been out here, but feels like a long time. So I'm gonna weld this side in. Just trying to see. And there. I'm just gonna feel areas. And our blow. I don't want it warping up some thin stuff. So I'll just keep doing that, cleaning a little bit. And these I'm doing a little bit more bigger aggressive-y welds because I know I have all that on the other side, but I still got to watch this thin stuff because it is, this piece here is really, really extra thin. So, for some reason. All right, I started cleaning this one up. I don't know what the trick is to keep these buggers on there. Buy better ones. These things fly off like all the time. I've been trying to like stop it as I'm grinding, but I just put this one on. Let's see. Since I have a different bag. Ah, see? What the schnuckums? I don't know. Pissing me off, I'll tell you that. Afraid to pull it and let it go because then it flies off. These stupid things, they don't make them like this safety crap on here. I don't know. Make it so you gotta jam it like crazy. Yeah. You gotta slow down before you stop so you don't keep spinning. Okay. I do like them, got more control of what you're doing for cleaning. I can't fit it. Maybe I could fit it in there. So when I was welding, I'd weld a little bit, show you, and then turn the camera off and just weld, because I don't know if you guys are sick of seeing me weld. And you know, as it is, I take and edit it and take a lot of it out because it's just weld, zap, zap, zap. I mean, when I'm zapping this stuff, I'm zapping 3-4 welds. I've been taking the air hose, blowing it off, cooling it, zap, zap, zap. You know, next thing you know, you got 20 minutes later. It takes a lot of time. So I will clean these up. I will clean that up, finish cleaning it. I did put a little weld on these pieces here. I'll clean it all up. I'm leaving those welds on the outside. They look pretty nice. I'll just wire wheel it, knock the BBs off. Then the next deal is to cut this, and I'm going to weld a wider one in there. Actually, I'm going to leave that on there. I'm going to weld that on there first. Leave it a little wider. Go ahead and cut this off. Cut that one pretty close. I can cut it pretty close with the cutoff wheel. And then I can take the flapper and just get her, where are we getting her here? What am I saying? This one right here. And we'll get her about like that on the inside and clean her up, sandblaster. Well, clean her up a little more. See if everything's gonna work and fit in there. All right, I cut this strip off of here. I'm gonna put it right on there. It's thicker than, it's wider than I need it. Weld it on there, tack it there, tack it on the back side. I cut this off, grind it nice and flat, and I grind this and shorten this stuff up. Now my stuff, I always order 16 gauge. There's mil tolerances. It used to always be 16 gauge for years. And then there was 17 gauge, now it's 18 gauge. That's what you get, a little bit less. If you put it on there, she's 18 gauge. I checked this here, 22 gauge. Let's try right here in this spot. 22 gauge right there. It's a little tight. And there, I tried a couple spots. We're 22 gauge on this stuff. So some of this is really, really thin. Let's see. There's 21. But some of this stuff I checked was 22 gauge. It's just really thin. That's why it's hard to weld. I can weld to 18. 16's a breeze. But when you're getting thinner than that, hey, she just burns away. So I will go ahead and zap that on there. Like that. All right, so it's all welded on, cleaned up. I got her welded back behind it all the way. I can still clean in there, but now I'm going to take and cut this straight off here to match the other one. This gets cut off carefully. Don't use any of that. Let's see. Let's put you there. I just don't want to cut into that. I'm going to cut it a little shorter and go back and flap it. I'd rather just flapper that off. Nice. Yeah. Ba-dum. All right. This side gets flappered off. Okay. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. Could take the air one on there a little bit. I'm gonna leave it this the way it is. You're better off with the big one. To keep it flatter, I think, for the big one. This is the way it is. And now I'll let that cool off, and I'll mark that little, how wide that is. I can probably do it by eye. So I'm gonna let it cool off, or mark it, and then take that off. All right, I gave it a little bead blast. I just stuck that in there to see everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'll pop that out now. Gotta double check that my bushings fit in there, since I did have to weld. I welded these up and washers on them. So, yeah. Last thing to do on here is there was a cover here on there that goes on there, and they just got a couple of them on there, and nothing's indented in or nothing to you know, exactly like these have, it goes down and up, so it's flat. This doesn't have nothing, probably doesn't matter as much down here. So they had a cover on there. I don't know why one piece is cut out a little funny. Maybe someone just made it. Probably because it's galvanized metal. Someone must have made it. So now I'm gonna put 2 holes in there and make a little cover plate that goes on there in here. And I think I'm gonna tack this down in here. Just a little weld in there because it's hanging out a little bit. Other than that, everything seems fine on it. As of now, I have 5.5 hours into this thing. 5.5 hours. That's work time. That's not break, stopping, or doing anything. Yeah, a lot of time. I think though if I draw up a pattern for this, I can cut it out on my machine and just go ahead and bend it. Be way farther ahead and put all these little pieces and doing all that. And I'll definitely try to do something like that and get that. And I think these little parts here, like I was saying, I can take a heavy bar and grind some grooves in, and take another piece, make it so this will sit in there with the grooves where the 2 grooves going to be, where the hole is, and make like a tool, a punch tool, and punch that little divot in there to hold these pieces that the screws go through. So I think I can make that. I might try to get that program before I even do the next one here. I think, and it's gonna be cooling off soon. And I don't need that next one until I start that custom one. So I think that's what I'll do. And maybe some of you guys will be interested in some of them or not. Okay, yeah, like 5.5 hours. I'm gonna make a plate for that, just like that one, out of my 18 gauge here. And yeah, cut another piece out of there, drill some holes. I have those clips. Good. All right, I'm done with it. 7 hours out here, plus. That's working hours. I did not think it would take this long to do this, but it did, and it turned out well. I made my cover. I even punched it and dimpled a little hole in there each way so you won't get it backwards. And it might fit either way. Now I'll be off the side a little bit, just a hair bit. So I did dimple it so it goes on one way. Got my pieces in there. My screws are in my Clark's, one of my boxes here somewhere. But very happy with it. Very, very happy. I'll give it one more little blast in the morning, I think, and we will prime it and paint it. This seems to work fine in there. I gotta check my little plastic bushings, see if they fit in here, and that will be done. But I'm definitely gonna try to make that piece, cut it out on a plasma table and see, because even if it's not quite right, I can, we'll just cut one out, see how it is. Or I could always cut them a little hair longer, which would always be better because you could always buzz a little bit of material off of it if it was like, just say a 1/16 inch longer than what I'm even thinking it should be. But yeah. And then I'm gonna actually probably do one that way. I'll actually, if I get one cut out, I will see about putting it together, because I'll need it for the next build after this one. All right, so this is done for the most part, and I can start on new stuff tomorrow. Very happy. Thanks for watching. Bink's Corvair Addiction.